Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house, and boy oh boy, what a meltdown for a second day on the stock market. Down 10% pretty much over the last 2 days in response to Liberation Day. Of course, Donald Trump, a president of the United States, has looked at reorganizing the world order. We haven't seen that since the 1980s with Reagan, and of course, Bretton Woods back in the 1940s. This is major, and it's well overdue. Liberal economists have wrecked the Western Hemisphere, and now, of course, on the social side, progressives are destroying the West. And of course, President Trump is pretty much coming through the fire with a shining, gleaming sword, and of course, cutting much of it down to restore the West and the United States to greatness. But certainly, the United States is going to benefit big time, and of course, we're excited about it. The globalists and the Marxists are screaming. They're writhing around like snakes in the sand. It is going to be awesome, and it is going to be ushering a fantastic new era where truth is truth, and the upside down world is smashed. The wokeism is destroyed. It is upon us to help them out with that wherever we can. It is pretty awesome. But the stock market is down big time today. But guess what? What is the shining hill? It is crypto. Crypto is the shining hill, and it is looking amazing. So we're going to get into all the details about how crypto is performing as Trump reorders the world order. Of course, we're seeing some countries capitulate and become basically aligned to the United States. Other countries, of course, like China, possibly making a big mistake, putting up big tariffs, 34% tariffs. We'll see how long those last. Obviously, Trump holds most of the cards. The United States is the world's big consumer, about 27, $28 trillion of GDP, about 20% of the world's economy. Obviously, militarily and technologically, super advanced, and of course, dominating military as well as obviously the political alliances. So this is huge, and man, it's going to be fun to see it play out. I would say short-term pain for medium to long-term mega golden gain. That's pretty much where we're heading here, and this is long overdue. Obviously, Trump there looking to restore manufacturing in the United States. Of course, since the mid-70s, America's lost 7 million jobs in the Midwest and places like that. It is huge, and of course, Trump is going to restore that to greatness. Now, we know that on the coasts, with much of the Democrat states, they didn't care about middle America. They didn't care about the worker. They didn't care about manufacturing. They just wanted to make their money while they managed decline in the United States. But the Midwest, all the Americans there, they were just neglected. They were left to be destroyed. But Trump is restoring all that. So it is a wonderful day. It is a wonderful day. Now, obviously, stock market's down. So, 401ks is hit for a moment. But you guys know what stock markets can be like, up and down, up and down. And of course, once Trump gets everything back in order up through this chaos, it's going to be pretty glorious. And your 401ks will bounce back with great glory. It's going to be pretty amazing. So we're going to get into all that. I'm feeling excited. Are you guys feeling excited? Because this is huge. This is huge. So let's get into it without further ado. Don't forget to follow on Rumble. Big shout out to everybody on Rumble. Really loving it over there. Great platform, great freedom. And definitely hit the follow button as well. I said they got a repost button there. Smash that too. Share it around on your channels. I really appreciate that. And get into the chat and start getting into the conversation. I really, this is the social media is about people. So get in there and start, making your opinions known. Obviously, keep it friendly, as you guys know, but get in there. And of course, on YouTube, big shout out to everybody over there. And of course, definitely subscribe, like, share. Now, you guys know we're actually started streaming to X social platform yesterday. So we're streaming on 3 major platforms. And, Rumble, I would say, is the most free out of all of them. X is probably the next most free, although they've still got some, probably bad people working there. And of course, YouTube, the usual overlords, but we seem to be getting by. It seems to have relaxed a little bit since President Trump has won. So not too bad over there as well. So big shout out. All right, so let's get into it, into the details. And of course, here we are with the stock market here. Drop Dow's 2,200 points. This is crazy. We haven't seen these sort of numbers for a long time. Drop down, Dow drops 2,200 points as global trade war fears escalates. Now, we're seeing some people already in negotiations, already capitulating to the United States. It makes sense, right? They hold most of the cards. We see some of the big players trying to posture and like China, but of course they'll end up, pulling those back down. Now we're expecting tariffs, for a lot of tariffs, particularly country tariffs, to stay around for a long time. It's going to be a bit like an ice cube as it melts in the sun. But we are expecting some repositioning of the world order towards free and fair trade. How ironic! And I said to this, yesterday, a lot of the liberal economists who have I've just had to cringe. I watched them for decades, since the '90s on TV, and it makes me cringe listening to them because I know that most of what they say is just rubbish, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my God, so help us, somebody!" Anyway, so we got Trump here to help us. That's kind of cool. Now, hey, look, he's not full on conservative. He's, I would say, a mixture between a moderate liberal and a conservative, and we've kind of got this alliance with the liberals that were rejected from the Democrat Party, and matched with the conservatives and the Republican Party. We've also had Trump, of course, over the last, for several years, get rid of a lot of the rhinos inside the Republican Party, and so we've got a much healthier, more unified, Republican Party that's more, let's say, MAGA focused, more conservative focused, and of course, but still with this alliance with these moderate liberals, like Elon Musk and others that have come into the fold. So it's pretty interesting, and a lot of them have actually changed their positions on a lot of things, which I would say is more conservative, and therefore we're not having to deal with this extreme Marxist progressive ideology, which is destroying the West, and of course, which has captured a lot of females, actually, hasn't it? Because it's an emotional propaganda they use, and of course, women tend to fall for that compared to men. I can tell you that much. So we got Dow Jones there, the top 30 industrials, down 5.5% at 2,200 points. We're down to 38,318. Now, we were sitting up pretty high back here on the weekly. You can see on the chart, we're sitting up at 42,200 only 3 days ago. And here we are down to 38.4. This is pretty crazy. Remember, the Dow Jones is the top 30 industrial, so it's a really bellwether indicator. S&P 500 is down 6%. OMG. And we're used to this in crypto. This is like just a day in the office in crypto. But in stock market, OMG, that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. And we got the NASDAQ there down almost 5.8%, 962 points, almost 1,000 points. It's down to 15,587. That's got all the tech companies in it. So that's probably a bigger deal. And we were all the way up here at 17,600. And we're now down at 15,600. So down 2,000 points. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Pretty incredible there. So pretty full on correction, 10, 12, 13%. Pretty crazy stuff there by my count. So we got the US dollar is bounced back a bit from yesterday. Now, there are two scenarios going here around the US dollar. One, that Trump wants a cheaper US dollar for competitiveness. The other one, of course, that the higher US dollar means that the tariffs have less impact. Americans have more purchasing power. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I tend to think that Trump's economists want a cheaper, a more competitive exchange rate. So we'll see where that all lands at the end of all this chaos. The dollar there is just up 0.8%. Commodities, a win-win. Win-win. Look at this. Look at this. Man, it's coming up some in the United States, right? And I know Americans love to drive their big cars, so they're going to love this. If this holds up, because crude oil there's gone down 7.4%. OMG. I'm going to say OMG a lot because these are some big numbers today. Brent oil at $65.98, down 6% as well. That's some crazy stuff. Those are down $4 respectively. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens at the pump there. Now, we live in New Zealand, right? So New Zealand's at the bottom of the world, and we have our exchange rate. We call it the Mexican peso of the South. That's pretty much it. And but no offense to Mexico, because obviously they're doing very well in their economy, generally speaking, apart from all the crime families out there. But we've got we basically it's very expensive to drive around. Let's put it that much. And not only that, but our last government happily allowed our only refinery to shut down. Isn't that madness? I mean, that's what happens when you have Marxists in control of your government. That's what they do. They make countries poor. Look what they did in South America, what they did in Africa. I mean, these Marxists are just they just keep going, and they stand there and they believe all this stuff. And yet most of them are like 15-year-old kids. That's the way they look when they're talking to me. It's like 15-year-old rebellious teenager yelling away, and you're going, you lost your mind. You lost your mind. Anyway, so we've got gold down 2.7%, 86 points to 3,035. And of course, that's quite a tapering off. But look where crypto's holding up. Even gold's down, but crypto's holding up. Isn't that crazy? Silver there is down 8.6%. and that is down $2.74 to $29.23. So quite a wiping out of these commodities here. Amazing, right? So let's get into the details there. China has done reciprocals. So obviously the US has done reciprocals, and of course, if people do reciprocals, they pull it down and negotiate. Then we got a fair and free trade. So Trump's actually the free trade guy ultimately, right? Using tariffs, because all these other ones, they've all got tariffs up and non-tariff barriers in particular, and they all have native GST, so goods and services tax, right? So that's an interesting thing. And go in behind the goods and services tax. Where are you getting to? Well, you're getting to the size of the big governments, right? So you got all the left politicals with all the Marxists and all the communists with big governments, and they want to get them bigger, 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 and they inflate it, and the economy goes down, down, down. The welfare goes down, 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 and they've just got everybody on welfare, right? But the actual pie is getting smaller. The economic pie is getting smaller, so it's just a madness. And so they justify all these taxes, right? Well, you get rid of a lot of these taxes, we're going to spur growth, and people get rewarded for it, right? So you get a very productive, active society rather than a very lazy sit back and oh no, what's that new cowboy movie, cowboy show at the moment? Somebody let me know in the chat because I get trying to remember. Wookie, do you know that cowboy thing? You're addicted to that thing, yeah, who's not? You know, cowboys, what a great lifestyle. As long as you're not out in the desert somewhere without water. But hey, look, it's just where it is. So we've got China's Commerce Ministry said Friday the country will impose a 34% levy on all U.S. products, matching the tariff on Chinese goods coming to the U.S. unveiled by President Donald Trump. Now, obviously, United States has about a $350 billion deficit to China. They are the consumer, and so really all the cards are in the US's hands. So this is kind of a crazy, puff your chest up. I got to get back at you. Stand up proud, we're strong kind of response. But actually, in economic sense, it makes no sense. And the other thing of this deficit's been running for decades. China's been modernizing and developing, and a lot of people thought, particularly the liberals, thought, oh, well, China will develop and it will become a good, nice, modern, liberal democracy. But of course, it didn't. It's basically an authoritarian military regime. And of course, there are many good Chinese people in the country, but the kind of authority that you've got there is what is basically dictatorial, right? So, and they're trying to impose a lot of those things on the people in the West, right? The Marxists in the West love this stuff in China, and they want to impose that on us. And of course, you've got to have credit scores, and you can only go from one city to one city. You need permits. There's lots of controls and restrictions, in and out of the country. All sorts of things going on there. You've got to serve the party and be part of the party. It's almost like North Korea. It's just one step down from there, probably. And you've got to do everything for the party, right? And if you don't, well, you could end up in some prison or beaten up, or all sorts of things could happen to you. And we saw what happened during the lockdowns in China. They had drones in the cities, and they were spraying all the streets. They were pulling people out of their houses, and so we don't want that in the West. And we've got a whole ton of progressive leftists and Marxists trying to pull us into an authoritarian regime where they rule the roost, and they can be corrupt and they can earn all the money, and the rest of us are slaves to the system. And of course, Trump is pushing back on that. This world reordering is very, very important, and so it's going to be good to see. The news raises concerns that tariffs announced by Trump's administration will be met by reciprocal actions by most of the country's trading partners, resulting in a global trading war and likely a global recession. While nothing's likely about that, there's a probability to it. And so we will see. JP Morgan says raised the probability of a global recession this year to 60% earlier session from a previous 40%. Now, I've seen this number move around quite a bit. People posting 35%, 30% to 40%, but 40% is probably where it's going to land there. But that 40% is not 60%, not 60% what it was. So it's now from the previous 40 now to 60. So this is where they're moving it into a likely probability in terms of happening. Now this may not happen though, right? So that's the other side of it. And if it does happen, it may be a very soft recession, a very soft touch of the mix before Trump's economic plans start playing out. So JP Morgan's estimates that this will lift the average effective tariff rate by 22 percentage points, translating to a $700 billion tax increase, or 2.4% of GDP. So obviously the United States is going to carry a lot of new revenue from this. And that's coming at a pretty good time when they've also got the Doge. I've got to say this right. An American. I've been saying Dodge. And some of the Americans in my chat say, "Hey, what are you talking about? You talking about cars? Talking about cars?" I say, "No, it's just the accent. It's just the way we say things." Is it Dooge? Dooge? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if that's right. If not, just laugh at me. Just laugh at me. Yeah, you got two options there. We got that going on. So we got a hike. A hike of this size would be on par with the largest tax hike in the World War II. JP Morgan economist said there. Now we've got a couple of things going, right? So we got obviously Trump dealing with the U.S. Federal deficit. That's $2 trillion. He's got the douche. I've got to say that right. I might have to go to practice class here. We got the douche. We got Elon Musk running this Dodge, Department of Government Efficiency. I went back to Dodge. Look how quickly that was. Department of Government Efficiency, and looking at $1 trillion savings. This is great for America, man. This is so great for America, and ultimately it will be great for the world as well if America gets itself right. Imagine America collapsing into a debt and despair for the world. That'd be terrible. You got authoritarian regimes would run wild. All the Marxists in the West would continue on advancing at a faster pace. The destruction of the West and they're going to turn the West into third world countries. You realize that, don't you? And then they're going to be at the top. They're going to be the top. You're going to be the slaves. They've got bad plans for people, man. I tell you this. It is so bad. It's basically, if you've read the 1984 book, it is like that. So we mustn't take this lightly. And of course, we see the mainstream media basically they're puppets, and they spew the most horrible, ghastly things these days. They write articles about the most ghastly things, and they're trying to indoctrinate people. Right? That's the whole thing. So we got to be free. That's all we can say. And Trump has got to do this tough love in the short term to help the long term gain. Right? So that's kind of where we are there. So JP Morgan estimates that hike of the size on par with the biggest hike in World War II. The main Wall Street indices suffered the biggest slide for 5 years on Thursday. So it's huge day there. The day after Trump announced tariffs on imported goods from his country's main trading partners, raising fears of the global trade war, which will ultimately lead to economic activity being severely crimped. I don't think that's how it's going to play out. Yeah, we're going to have some short term, thumping on the chest, but actually a lot of countries are going to be capitulating. Now, I told you about the strategy yesterday. There's going to be three different types of countries, right? It's a bit like a red light, a stop sign. You've got a red light, a green light. I guess people have different colors and sometimes in different countries, but got a red light. These are kind of the enemies. You're going to have the frenemies or friends over here with the green lights, and then you're going to have the neutrals in the middle, right? So people with these tariffs are going to fall into these different camps, and that's going to be very interesting. And of course, support the world order, right? We got Brian in here going douche. It's pronounced Doge. It's like a trick question. All right, so enough of that. Let's move on. We got strategists at UBS revised down the year-end 2025 targets for the S&P 500, primarily due to weaker growth expectations and recession concerns following the tariff announcements. UBS cut its S&P 500 target from 5,800 to 5,800 from 6,400, pointing to deteriorating macroeconomic backdrop, triggering by one of the biggest changes in U.S. economic policy in a generation. Higher tariffs and lower growth forming pressure on the U.S. corporate earnings, said Chief Investment Officer Mark Haefele. And of course, risk premia are likely to stay elevated. So obviously, all the liberal economists are pretty squirmish here at the moment. On the data front, the US economy added more jobs than anticipated in March. So actually, the economy is still doing pretty well, isn't it? But the previous month's figure was revised sharply lower, and the unemployment rate rose, adding to ongoing economic uncertainty. Non-farm payrolls for the month came in at 228,000, a jump from the revised low 117,000 in February. Economists had anticipated 137,000 jobs in March, while the February figure had been previously 151,000. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate was 4.2%, a rise from 4.1% pace. The labour market is also trending sideways, such that there is no impulse to adjust policy, at least for now. So this is where Jeffrey said. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said Friday the Fed doesn't have to be in a hurry to adjust interest rates at a time when Trump's administration trade policies are likely to boost inflation and slower growth. That's what they said. They got a bit of smelling mistake there. It feels like we don't need to be in a hurry. It feels like we have time. But that's going to probably reverse. You watch that statement. That's probably going to reverse there. Keep a lookout for that. So that's kind of where we are with the markets. Let's have a look what we've got coming up next week on Wednesday. So you can put this in your diary. We got the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So that's Wednesday, the 9th of April. And then on Thursday, this is an important data point because of the Federal Reserve there. We've got the core CPI. And we've got what's the other one? We've got PPI as well. So the CPI, of course, is the Consumer Price Index, one of the two main inflation gauges that the Fed looks at. Obviously, the most important one they look at is the PCE, which is just a broader basket of goods that gives you a better idea of what's happening with inflation. And then, of course, we've also got the PPI, which is the wholesale prices, right? The producer price index gives you the wholesale prices there. That's coming up on Thursday. Thursday's a big day next week. That could move markets, particularly with the current volatility and sentiment we've got at the moment. And of course, we do expect that at the moment, right? We do expect that. So yeah, we're still talking about Doge. Talking about Doge. Am I getting it right? Let me know. You had it right when you said Doge. Doge. Yeah, Doge. I'm trying to say it with some really bad American accent. Doge. I don't know. It sounds more like English, like a bad English accent. We've got, except the E is silent. A Doge. Doge. Without the E. Okay, cool. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I'll get there in the end. But that is kind of where we are at the moment. So that's next week, 10th of April. Inflation's coming out. Now, we got some bullish stuff around crypto, so I wanted to get into this. This is Michael Saylor, of course. They've got about, I think, 500,000 Bitcoin, so a massive amount of the 19.8 million Bitcoin supply. And, of course, today's market reaction to tariffs is a reminder inflation is just the tip of the iceberg. Capital faces dilution from taxes, regulation, competition, obsolescence, and unforeseen events. Bitcoin offers resilience in a world full of hidden risks. How about that? That was from Michael Saylor. Thought that was pretty cool comment. That's only a few hours ago that he put that out there. So pretty cool. And that gets us into crypto. And we're going to go big screen on this, aren't we? We're going to big screen. Let's go, because it's nice and bold and green here. So let's do that. So big and green. Donan said, yes, perfect, lol. I said it by accident. That was my accident one. So my accident one was right. I don't know. It's crazy. All right. I'm still going to work on it because it's not quite full in my memory yet. But we got Bitcoin here at $83,823. It is green, baby. Crypto's shining. That's why I said crypto shines after Liberation Day. Oh, man, it is so, so good. I can tell you this: in our country, our mainstream media is squirming over Trump and Liberation Day. They're clueless. They don't even know what's going on. They have no idea. They don't read anything. They don't read anything. They just read their own little red mail book that they're reading. I mean, they're just crazy. They write all the most heinous articles you could imagine. I don't want him to go into it, so it's so gross. We got max head gains, mad gains, of course, and big yields. This is what we're going to get in crypto at the moment. And I have always been bullish about Q2. Now, obviously, Trump's tariffs came a little bit earlier than I expected. So Q1 wasn't quite the rally that we were expecting, obviously with a pretty big downtime. We're going to talk about that. But, of course, that's like what we call a special event. So really it just potentially defers the altcoin rally, which we're still expecting. And this confidence today with crypto really gives you more confidence about the bull market coming ahead for crypto. The fact that stock market is down so dramatically, over 10%, and here we are, we've got Bitcoin up 1.4%, and gold is down as well. Commodities got smashed, oil got smashed, silver got smashed, stock market got smashed, tech companies got smashed, but Bitcoin is up and green and the shining light on the hill. You guys have got to be excited about this. This is real positive. Now, obviously, we've got volatility in crypto. This is the way it goes, but man, this is really, really good sign. And of course, BlackRock CEO is, for all the bad things and globalist he is, said that Bitcoin is the new gold, digital gold. And of course, with the ETFs, that's opened it up, the crypto to the rest of the world. And of course, with Donald J. Trump's strategic Bitcoin reserve and altcoin stockpile, crypto is on the front foot. United States, all the states in the United States are running to get the bills through, to get investment through into crypto, particularly Bitcoin, some of the top majors as well. And we also see a lot of sovereign states in the world now clamoring to get into crypto too, realizing that if America buys it all up, they're going to have to pay the higher price, right? This is the way it goes. And of course, this could really change sovereign wealth. And Michael Saylor's done some very good coverage of how that could impact sovereign wealth, particularly if the United States is the front runner, right? So very exciting stuff happening there. And then, of course, all the institutions coming in behind is massive, and getting into the big wealth funds and all that sort of stuff. Man, this is going to be glorious in crypto. So the average price predictions we're expecting for BTC, remember, is about 150 to 250, with a median there of about 200,000. But the upside potential is about 400K. Now, if we do a 10x to gold, we're looking at about a 10x from here. I just need to get to the gold market cap. So bring it on. Exciting times ahead for crypto. and anchoring with this rarity in Bitcoin. There's only 19.8 million Bitcoin in existence. There's only ever going to be 21 million, and the last little bit of Bitcoin's coming out in 2141, and none of us will be around for that. Well, probably not, unless you're like superhuman or something. I don't know, but maybe if you're real young, I don't know, maybe you might make it. I don't know, maybe a little baby might make it. Who knows? But that's kind of where we are. They reckon about 2 million, maybe to 4 million, as high as that could be lost. So we might have something like 17 or 15 million out there. Who knows? But it's going to be pretty crazy, the amount of scarcity in Bitcoin. Now, people used to be talking about, oh, I got to hold 1 Bitcoin. But now they're talking about, I just need to hold 0.1 Bitcoin, a tenth of a Bitcoin, to get mad gains. And that is true if you look at Michael Saylor's numbers, because out in 2045, he's got Bitcoin priced at the base case. The base medium case, he's got that priced at $30 million of Bitcoin. Isn't that insane? And I posted that on X last night. It was crazy stuff. So that's kind of where we are there. Anyway, we got Ethereum there at $1,811. Pretty flat today. Ethereum definitely underperforming, but I think it will have its day in the sun. It does have institutional backing. They've got upcoming forks as well. EIP upgrades coming up. So not too bad there. Solana having a better day. Obviously, Solana been smashed since January around the meme cycle. And of course, we covered that in a video the other day. Check that out on memes. And that was a full overview of memes. So if you want to check out memes, the meme trends, definitely check out that video, both on Rumble and on YouTube. We got Solana at $120, up 5%, so pretty good move there. BNB up 1% at $597. ADA up 2% at 66 cents. We got XRP up 3.6% at $2.12. And Tron there up 0.5% at just under 24 cents. Not bad there. Litecoin making a little bit of a move there too, up 1% at the moment. Now, what we're going to talk about is, have we got it here? We do. Poor little Pi coin here. Poor little Pi coin. Man, oh man, look at that thing. Down to 52 cents. Oh my goodness, man. That team just can't do anything right. I know that they haven't got some listings from some exchanges, because some exchanges calling Pi Network a scam. Now, I don't know. I don't call it necessarily a scam at this stage, but I am troubled by their overarching regulatory centralized TradeFi, CFI, KYC process, which is pretty horrific. And of course, they're not delivering coins. If anyone's been doing Pi Network over the last 6 years since they started, they've got coins that you get by having a team, and the team mines, and a lot of these coins aren't getting out to people. And if you go to Pi Network, you can look through the comments, and it's riddled with people saying, I haven't got my coins. When am I going to get my coins? Are you guys going to rob me of my coins? This is bad, bad, bad. That's not great. And of course, their communication, they do these little corporate communications every so often that's not actually addressing the issues. So they got a lot of work, these PhD people from, what is it, Harvard or Princeton or somewhere, I can't remember. But they live in La La Land. They're probably all Democrats, so be careful out there. That's why they're running this big regulatory regime in Pi Network. So we'll see. They are doing good stuff, relatively speaking, on the business side, but we'll see where all that lands for the old Pi Network there. We'll keep an open mind, because there are a pretty big community using that, over 60 million pioneers. Probably maybe 10 to 20 million are actually active still. So we'll see where all that lands. I think they had about 1.5 million engaged through PiFest, which ran through from the 14th to the 21st of March, slightly earlier this month. This month. Yeah, we're still in March. Yeah, no, last month, I should say. And so, yeah, we got the total market cap of crypto. Remember this number. This is a really important number. So we got the market cap of crypto. You can't see it here. I don't think. Can you see it? I think you can, yeah. Maybe you can't. It's at 2.8 trillion, and it is down 0.3%, so not too bad there. And we can see that Bitcoin is ranked number 1, Ethereum number 2, XRP number 4, BNB number 5, Solana number 6, Doge. Is it Doge? Doge again? Are we Doge again? Yeah, Doge. Doge is at number 8, Cardano at number 9 there, and Tron there at number 10. And of course, Tron getting a lot of the love from the stable coins, right? The USD Tether there as well, printing more billions of dollars of Tether there, and getting a lot of support, and that's going to benefit a lot from the US government's digital dollar campaign, their strategy there. Now, some of the trending ones we've got at the moment. Let's go to top gainers, actually. Look at that. Minted up 541%, Loom Network up 135%, and that's the old one, and the new one is up 135%, so they've got some good action there. Trending, Solidus AI Tech, I think it was trending yesterday too. Cubic is up as well, trending, and of course Tincoin there as well, they're trending as well. So that is the basis of what we're going. Let's have a look at the best performers in the last 24 hours in the top 100. Well, it looks like we've got Peppy Meme. So the memes are back. Doge Doge there is up 5.9%, and Cosmos Hub Atom there is up 6.5% last 24 hours. So they're the top three. We've got OKB and Solana following up after that. In terms of the best in the last week, while EOS there's crushing it with 38%, Cosmos Hub up 9.4%, and Tron up 2.1%, probably on the spur of that USD Tether $1 billion mint kind of play there. Diamond Hand says yes, perfect, lol. Thanks, I appreciate that. All right, so looking pretty good there. Big shout out to everybody over on Rumble. Don't forget to smash that following button and hit that like button as well. And if you guys can repost this channel over there, do it, because we're just having such a good time. We hope we're bringing a really good quality of program of crypto to Rumble. And of course, we love freedom, so it's a perfect match in heaven, so to speak. And this angel on the top of the thumbnail there looks pretty badass. That is crypto, the shining light amongst after Liberation Day coming into the play. So kind of cool. Diamond Hand says Pulse Chain is gaining on ETH. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that because Pulse Chain is doing very well today, which is pretty awesome too. So not bad there. All right, so let's jump away from there and get into the Bitcoin chart. Here is our Bitcoin chart here, and so we've got a few events still coming up. You know, we've got the baseline tariffs 10%. We've got the higher tariffs coming up on the 9th. So we'll see what that like. And of course, we've got sector tariffs, right? Aluminium, steel. America is going to have such rampant growth. Donald Trump has done something amazing. He's already got $3.5 trillion of investment within his first 100 days, and he's got $5 trillion on the books. And that's just the beginning. You can imagine what he's going to get over 3-4 years. It is crazy how successful America's going to be. And America's successful, it's going to lift the rest of the world. Remember, the US is the consumer of the world, and it's going to lift all boats. So short-term pain for some countries out there, but if they do good negotiations, then they will get good results. They'll have a little bit of pain in the beginning, but not much relative to the awesome growth that they could experience in due course. And at the end of the day, America's going to be better off, and the world's going to have better, fairer, and free trade. And the globalist Marxist world order is going to be smashed quite a bit. And so I'm looking forward to that. We want the WF, the World Bank, and all these other the United Nations. All these things have to be. I think I would rather get rid of the United Nations, to be honest. I mean, it's so corrupt now. But we've got to get rid of these organizations and dampen them down as well. So let's fingers crossed that all heads well in the next 4 years. Otherwise, we're in trouble. These guys, once you get into a system like that, man, there's only one way to get out of it, and you guys know we don't want to go that way, which is, and we may not be able to, right? Which is a major world war. So that would be pretty crazy where the people rise up. And that's difficult. That's not easy to do, right? That's not easy to do. We've seen in conflicts, right? In the conflicts, you see police and particularly police, they end up supporting the government. Even though the government's a horrible Marxist government, they'll support it. And you're going, what are you guys doing? Can you not see what we see? And it's like that. And then the mainstream media, doctrinates. We saw that with the lockdowns, right? How much power they were going to do. Pretty crazy stuff there. All right, let's move on. That is where we are at the moment. So we've avoided this this death cross at the moment. It is closing though. So if we continue this bullish move here on crypto, on Bitcoin, then we may be able to avoid this death cross, or at least have a very brief one. And of course, we already did that back here in September, right? We came and we just avoided it. And so we've still got our golden cross. And of course, the golden age of America, that's what we're all backing for, right? We're all backing for that, the golden age of America and the golden age of crypto. We're still expecting altcoin season to come up. So far, so good, folks. We've got the 200-day at 85,400, then the 50-day at 87,300. That's the yellow line. And we can see that we are really got this area. So this area, this orange circle, is volatility from the Trump tariffs. This is what we expected to see, quite a choppy, and the economic data coming out at the moment. Remember, inflation is coming out next Thursday as well. So let's see how that goes. And the stock market correction, a major correction today. They're 10%, right? So pretty big deal there. Now, you don't want to get into the 20% corrections, but we may see that next week in the stock market that keeps having its little tantrum. But any good news that comes out about trade negotiations with some of these countries, getting in line, then that's going to be positive. We had negative with the China, 34% tariff today, but we get positive stuff next, maybe around Europe or something like that. We also saw Macron, a typical globalist nut job, they're trying to rig the system over there with the elections with Le Pen there as well. We shall see. We shall see. So crazy stuff is going to happen there. I'm sure the Europeans are crazy, man. Those globalist elites are just man. They must get out of they're all narcissists, right? So they're all narcissists. So don't expect them to be kind. Don't expect them to be so empathetic, like genuine empathetic people, because they're not. They always seem to rise through these political machines, right? All right, so that is where we are with Bitcoin. Now, on April, we're going green. So we're green on Bitcoin, up 1.86%. So good news there. So you've got to feel pretty good about this. This is a really exciting place to be. Obviously, February and March, we had negative months. February, of course, typically a green month, one of the two best months of the year, was extremely red. The last time we had something so bad was back in 2014, down 31%. And of course, that down 70% in February. But hey, look, we're green now. 1.84%. Maybe the next quarter is going to be green too, May and June. And we know that obviously a lot of the United States and institutions are coming in with their crypto money, and we see that coming through the ETFs to starting to pick up. So we could have a very beautiful time here. And today's green candle is very important, a good signal of that as well. So kind of cool. And of course, we started Q2 there with the 1.86% there. So we'll see how we get on. Now, Bitcoin flows there. It looks like IBIT is bringing in Bitcoin out of the ETFs. FBTC and GBTC are down a little bit there. ARK's up, and so is BTC. So we're getting a little bit of movement there into the right direction. And we don't think we have updated data for. Let me see here. We don't have an updated data for yesterday, but we'll probably get a green candle there too in the old ETF. So we'll keep a lookout for that. But we're looking for some green candles as that institutional and government money flows into crypto there. Going to be pretty cool. Now, this is one of my favorite charts is the Bitcoin halving. And we can see that every vertical green line here's the Bitcoin halvings every 4 years. And of course, we just had ours in 2024. And of course, we get this little choppy bit at the beginning. We've already got that little choppy bit at the beginning, a little bit more elongated because we had the Trump effect. And of course, then we're looking for this big altcoin rally here as well. So that's kind of what we're looking for today. And I think today's green candles for Bitcoin, post Liberation Day and the tariffs is a very good sign, especially with the stock market down. And of course, that decorrelation from the stock market, very, very impressive. Because what's the connection, right? Some of the same institutional players playing crypto now as they are in stock market. Also, the wealth effect, right? The wealth effect of stock market into crypto. And of course, that's going to tie back into the monetary supply, the M2 supply, things like that. So, we're looking for some bullish stuff moving ahead. And I think the Fed will probably end up capitulating later on. And because they were late to cut interest rates, right? So we got delayed pain from interest rate cuts. But I think they will probably change their view depending on what happens, especially if we start getting into recessionary areas. So that 40% that's moved to 60%, starts to materialize. Even if it's a soft landing, then they will start, lowering interest rates and printing money, right? Printing money. So keep a lookout for that. In fact, they're due for the printing money cycle coming up. So we could see all that go. And if you've got low interest rates, right, then we're going to park your money in higher interest rate opportunities, right? So crypto and risk-on assets, right? And if you got more money, if the Fed's printing money, you got more money in the society, and particularly a lot of it goes through the banks and institutions, and you can start pushing all these asset prices up, right? And particularly in crypto, which has got then Bitcoin at 21 million. So it's a lot of stuff going on there. Very, very exciting. Are you guys excited? I'm excited about this. This is pretty awesome. So that is kind of where we are. We're looking for this altcoin season. It's going to come up. It's going to be glorious, and still feeling very good about that. And so that's pretty cool. Now, before the live stream, the Pulse Chain was actually slightly green. It's just gone a little bit red at the moment, but not much, down 1.1%. And we've got Pulse there sitting at quadruple 0229. What else we got to say about that? Well, let's get back. Actually, I'm going to go back into the other view here so you guys can see that. And we've got Pulse X at the moment at quadruple 0203, down 2.3%. The buy and burns at 1.36 trillion tokens. And we've got Inc there at the moment is at $1.23. That's gone up quite nicely, a recovery. Remember that went down all the way down to 95 cents on the bottom of the move there by Pulse Chain, and that's down 4% at the moment, but that's been performing pretty well. The ratio is still pretty strong, 53,700 pulse per one incentive token. Remember that Richard Hart's team cut the inflation by 20x It is now only 5% of what it used to be, and the supply is only about 55 million, so it's growing very, very little. But what else did that do? What's the big deal? Well, it cut a couple of $1 million out of the farming pools, and therefore we've got very relatively thin liquidity. What does that mean? That means the market can go down very fast, but it can also go up very fast at a square, right? Because we're on V2 pools mostly. So that's a big, big deal. Hex at the moment, Hex is screams buy to me. I don't know. Hex screams buy to me. You got to do your own due diligence, but screams buy. We're down at 55 hundredth of a penny, so just over half a cent. We got EHEX at the moment at 1600th of a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PX is at 7/10 of a penny. That's crazy. Remember, Hex was one of the best 4 coins in the last bull market, 2021, doing a 10,000x. It made a lot of people potentially wealthy. Many of them some of them realized that wealth during the peak of that little boom. I think it lasted about 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks at the top of that cycle. So people had a chance to capture that value. And of course, that's where it is at the moment. At the moment, its inflation also got cut, right? So incentive token got cut, but Hex also got cut. We saw the sacrifice in OA wallets, staking Hex short term for 7 days, 30 days, and then of course doing a whole ladder of Hex stakes, which is about 250 billion Hex, which is pretty crazy. And of course, there's only 662 billion in supply. So getting 250 billion Hex ladder, it was pretty amazing. And of course, that has lowered the rate there. The payouts were 7.5 Hex per T-share. That's lowered all the way down to 1.5 Hex per T-share. So now the inflation on that are super low as well. So this is all big moves for the bull market ahead on the old Pulse chain. So it's a huge opportunity here, and that's why we've been focusing on it. So pretty exciting. Now let's jump into some of the best performers. We've got 20.8 million in 24-hour volume. This has been like this for the last couple of days, about 3 or 4 days. We've had about 20 to $22 million in volume. So it's on the low end. But of course, Pulse Chain did have a massive capitulation event down to the bottom after, worries about PUSD maker, exploitation and leakages out of the system. So we had a bit of that, obviously also hit by DBank and Ravi Wallet pulling out as well on the following that news. So just the way it goes. Pulse Chain had to go through a lot of traumas, and eventually we'll come out the other side glorious. And we're seeing some early signs of that, especially with some of these moves by Richard Hart around the liquidity pools and incentives, and of course Hex as well. The other thing we've seen from Richard Hart is what I call Richard Hart 2.0, and that is launching pump tires. That allows a lot more burning of Pulse coins, a lot more burning of PulseX to some degree, because it's created a kind of a new sub-market that has kind of been dominating a lot of the coins on Pulse Chain and acting as a non-printing or non-minting kind of tokens compared to, say, some of the top PRC 20 copies like PUSD Maker, Compound, Aave, and many of these other copies that have come over. And some of them have, minting issues. Some of them have Oracle issues and things like that. So he's, been thinking about those things, obviously. So yeah, we got a couple of tokens here. Mist launched yesterday. Now, Mist, I think, is in the Finvesta ecosystem. We covered those printers yesterday. That's up 7,400%, but it is pulled back the last 6 hours at 23% there. We got Lady Gaga. It's been around for 7 months, and that is up 100%. So that's doing pretty well today on a pretty decent volume, 990,000. We got Indinkin. How do you say this? Indikin, let's say, or Indikin, something like that. We got that's been around for 16 hours. There's probably another pump tires there. That is up 62%. Very small liquidity on those. Very small, only 1K. So probably not worth even talking about. Treasury bill there versus Teddy Bear is up 30%. That's been around for over a year. That's doing pretty well. We've got Alien there. It's been around for over a year. That's up 17%. ALGO is up over 13, almost 40%. And that's based with Hex, right? That's a sort of a Hex derivative project. We've got Firewall there. Woohoo! Now, we are looking forward to X Game. I'm going to be talking about X Game a lot. Hellboy, yeah. Hex Game's coming. That's going to be a big crash game on Pulse Chain and Base Chain to start with, but it will be multi-chain. But coming to Pulse Chain first there from Firewall. We're looking forward to X Game, and this is one of the tokens there. This has been around for 10 days. It's up 9% today. UFO, of course, is the child project of PDGC, the parent, and this is up 8%, performing pretty well. Also, Dominance there, part of the I think the Finvesta ecosystem, definitely a printer token, is up 8%. We've got Beast there, is up 6.8, but 3%, another printer token. We covered that yesterday. Gas Money is up 7% as well. So these two doing very well. And of course, with gas money, you earn pulse, don't you? You earn pulse with gas money, just drops to your wallet. That's why it's called a printer token. Pretty cool. And of course, using bots and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Love.io. I don't know, it's come out of nowhere. This project, I thought it was going to be a massive social media project on Pulse Chain. Hasn't really done too much, but it seems to be pumping the last couple of times. Let's have a quick look at that because not sure what's going on there. Look at that chart. That is the 4-hourly chart. This is a brand new one, isn't it? This is not the original. This is a new pump tires one. For some reason, it's pumping. Probably just because it's pump tires that made it over. I don't know why. Let me know in the chat if you guys are familiar with some of that. So that's kind of some of the leaders there. Definitely, we've got PDC Pulse. Looks like it's on the comeback. Now, I posted out on X yesterday about PDC saying this looked good, and I still think it does. Now, remember, there's a 5% tax in this, and it's got different tokenomics. But, man, this is kind of looking good. So this is like the tip of the day. Tip of the day is PDC looking very good there. We also see one of our biggest influencers in the crypto Pulse chain space, Moon King, covering this. And this is looking very good. So 0002900. And this could really start to do some things. I posted a chart analysis on the X, so you can check that out as well. But let's quickly look at the taxes on here, just so you guys know that it does have a tax on it. Look at this cool website. Wow, Star Trek, Star Wars. Oh my, it's bloody aliens. Aliens everywhere, man. Run for your lives. Run for your lives. Aliens are here. All right, so this is pretty cool. We got this token. Now you can see the taxes, 5%. We got 0.5% burn through taxes, 0.5% liquidity, so it's boosting liquidity all the time. 2% into the DAO. I love these DAOs, and this is pretty good. And then the holder and staker reflection 1%, and then the staker reflection 1%, so you can stake as well. And like I say, this is the parent, and then the UFO is the other token, right? This is the child, as I call it, a parent-child token system, and doing a great job. So not bad. And of course, one of the best performing protocols on Pulse Chain over time, but it did have a big pullback. So let's have a look at that, and it's bouncing from there, right? So here's the pullback. So it had a huge hyper rally. People were making mad gains. Got a massive sell-off, right? People finally taking profits. And then, of course, it started to rally back up here. Now, I've got the next target at 4,200, and then the next target is horizontal as well at 5,400. So I think there's still quite a bit of upside here on the next move. Now, it might have a little bit of resistance here, because obviously it had some support at this level. So this could be a resistance zone, but if it breaks that, then I've definitely got it coming up to at least 4,200. So that could be quite nice if it does that. So let's keep a look out on that. That's 45% gain on that one. So we shall see. That's PDC, the Grays. Now, I'll post that in the chat there if you guys want to check that out in your own time. But it's definitely been one of the most dominant, best performing protocols. And after a bit of a pullback, that's got to be generally a good sign. And you can check out the DAOs too. I'm not sure how much is in the DAO, because it gets 2%. So it could have quite a big DAO. I haven't checked that recently. So it's probably worth checking that too. And getting in the community, right? Join the Telegram and see what the vibe's going on there. Always do your due diligence, as always. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to Emmett. I lost Emmett Farm, did I? Oh no, almost lost it. So almost there. We've got Emmett. So you guys haven't joined. If you haven't joined our, we've just opened a Telegram like 4 or 5 days, I think maybe 5 days ago, and we just hit 150 members. I mean, that's really, really good. So a big welcome to everybody over at Superman Crypto's Gems. That's what we call it. And we had a rebrand yesterday, but definitely join up to that. I'm going to get the link to join, and I'm going to post that on Rumble as well, so you guys can join up to that. I'm just going to get this now as well, so you can join up. Looking pretty good. And yeah, you can join up, and we've got a free alpha list pinned to the top, and we update every day. We actually curate it, so we add and remove things that if we decide that they're really not going to probably do too well, so we keep that up. Very, very cool. Diamond Hands says, watch what PDC does when Hex is back at 3 cents, 100%. It's going to absolutely rock it. So really good point there. There's big potential X's as Pulse Chain, Hex, Rally, and really PDC could absolutely go through the moon. You're going to get a leverage play on that. So X's times X's. That's why we got big mad X's, right? Because you're going to get potentially mad X's there. So this is our Superman's Crypto. Let me just type that in. Superman's Crypto Gems on Telegram. And join up today. I'm going to post this in the video in the comments. Maybe one of the mods can post this on Rumble, because I forgot to post it there today, I think. So I do post it afterwards, but definitely check that out. So that is the link there. So join up Superman's Crypto Gems, and look, we're looking to grow to thousands of followers in there, and that means that what we're trying to do in there is give you a free alpha list on Pulse Chain. Obviously, we cover Pulse Chain all the time, along with the rest of crypto, but we're trying to match up the team projects with the crypto people, right? So match those up, bring great value, clashing in the middle. So bring value to both the teams that are making amazing protocols and the people, right? So we try to get quality projects. We try to get rid of the rubbishy ones, and then we also try to get people matched up to those opportunities. And so it's a win-win. We try to create win-win outcomes there, and we're doing a lot of stuff in the background. We're only 5 days in, and it's going to take probably 2-3 weeks to get things set up, but we're heading in the right direction. So if you want to be an early member of that, get in there. And of course, if you want to, invite people, all you have to do is type /link in the chat there, /link, and you'll get your own referral code, and you can now then bring people in with that. And the more people you get in, who knows what could happen in the future. We are going to be looking at airdrops and other things like that. So get into that, and of course you're going to get early access to projects and all sorts of stuff. Very, very bullish. We've got definitely a lineup starting to form for that, so definitely get in there. And we've got an alpha list for free at the moment, so kind of cool, covering some of the very best protocols on Pulse Chain, so get in there. All right, so that is there as well. Now, if you also haven't joined our Discord, the link's in the video description to join Discord. That's you can become a community member for $12.50 a month. I think I've got the wrong pricing in there at the moment, so I've got to change that. But we've got Strategy Club there as well, $35 a month. That's next level, so we get constant intel going in there. I just did a monthly update about 2 days ago, so you want to get in on that with lots of alpha, and we're looking at a lot of big chains and opportunities coming up. We're going to be broadening some of that coverage moving forward. So join up to that as well. Only $35 a month. That's top of the line stuff. If you want the best of the best, and you get into there. And got a lot of stuff coming in there. It's kind of cool. But anyway, here we are with the top. This is the best performer over the last 24 hours is Emmett Farm. And Kairos is doing a marvelous job with this farm. I mean, look at the price chart. Look at the price chart. This chart is doing extremely well. And he's got the tokenomics balanced very finely, and he's doing a lot of cool promotions, and the more promotions are coming. He's also doing a lot of new farms in here as well, and bringing in new communities. He's got a lot of cool stuff going here. The tokenomics are very clever, and he's got all the right dials in here, I think, and he's just doing more and more things to do that. At the moment, we've got Emmett there. It had a big rally at the beginning. That's what you normally get, right, when you launch something. So it went up to $4.15, came all the way down here after 5 days, down to, what did it get down to, 60 cents. Now, normally, with a lot of traditional farms that you get into, you're going to have 3 to 5 days, right? 3 to 5 days, the project does really well, and then it slowly tails off. That's like a basic farm without any like bells or whistles to try and make it, sustainable and tokenomically clever. But here we are. We're way past day 5, and we're day 6, 7, and 8. We're now on day 8, and the price is starting to rise. So this tells you something about the project, about the farms, about the promotions, about the tokenomics in this farm. Very, very, very clever. In fact, it's only doing about, I don't know, we're going to check it out, but it's only doing about $300 or $400 in yield a day. So that makes it very sustainable. That's a very clever move. And of course, it was going to be doing 4,000 a day. It has been 10x there. Very clever. And of course, it's become more sustainable. The more sustainable people see, the more value that can creep into the system like this. So very, very excited about this. $1.05 at the moment. And I think there's some big promotion campaigns coming too from this one. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be pretty exciting. So what's the market cap? 99K. So it's got a low market cap. What's the liquidity? 12K. It's a decent amount to start moving the project. And the volume at the moment, 2,100. Remember, it does have a tax on here. So the tax is 5%, just like we saw with PDC, but it's different, right? So 4% goes into single-sided staking, which is clever, right? That's clever. And you don't earn Emmett, you don't earn LP tokens, you earn stablecoin, you earn EDI. That is clever. So that's a really good advancement here from Kairos. Very genius move. And then 1%, what does that do? It burns the token. So it's constantly burning the token, keeping a cap on the total supply. A very, very clever move there. So let's get into that. So that is Emmett. I'm going to post the link to the chart there. You checked it out. This happens to be the best performer on our alpha list overnight. Yesterday it was printed coins, and today it is the Emmett farm. So pretty cool. Check out the chart there. Like I say, I'll post a lot of the stuff over on the Rumble, since I normally have moderators over there, but I don't know where they are at the moment. So just the way it goes. They've got lives to live. That is the play. So let's get into the Emmett farm here. We're going to quickly go through the farm and have a look at the tokenomics. So we're at $1.05, which is really, really cool. We have the total supply at 95,144. Wow, something big has happened here. So big burn going on there. I didn't actually get to read a lot of the updates today. So that is sitting at 95. So that's gone down from over 100,000. And we've got total burn coins now at almost 7,000. So there must have been a major burn happening there from some of the supplies. So that's pretty bullish. And then we've got the market cap sitting just below 100K. So a big burn event happened, folks. A big burn event. What do we say? Burn, 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 baby, burn. That's all we can say. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. So let me go to some of the stuff here. Looking very, very nice. So we had a big burn event there. I'm just going to have a quick look at something. Just bear with me while I'm going through this. And let's have a look here. And bam, I'm going to have a look through some of this. Let's see here. Let's see. Just going through a few posts. Let's see what's going on here. Wow. So yeah, the Kairos, the founder of Emmett, says burn 6K now. Want to keep some here in here though, as they can be key for growing the project over time. Woo! So that is pretty awesome. Awesome news there from Kairos, and that is in about that. So kind of cool. And the DAO's got tons of tokens, right? So DAO's got tons. So massive burn event, very bullish for the project. Kind of cool. And that would have been from the Teams wallet. So nice. We've got the Emmett project there looking pretty good. The yield. So we've still got Emmett Pulse, Emmett DAI, Emmett NXC, but we've still got 400% for that. Emmett DAI sitting at 3,200%. And we've got Emmett Inc. there at 3,66%. So pretty awesome. That DAI being a new pool from memory, looking pretty cool. Emmett Pulse X there at the moment at 386%. Emmett Stake Emmett. Now this is the single side staking. Remember, 4% from all the 5% tax goes into the rewards here. So that's sitting at 372%. And we've got we've got over $29,000 in there. That has really jumped up. So that's pretty exciting. People getting onto that. You're earning EDAI, very clever move. And of course, with the EDAI, you can go buy more Emmett. I mean, it's a kind of a vicious circle potentially. Kind of cool. Now we've got the Pulse X pools. They're still going on really well. 111K, 49%, and 50% respectively. The Emmett pump tires, so pump and most is two of the most popular pump tires. That's still at 46% at the moment, so you can push stuff in there. The Impulse token, this is an earlier project from about a year ago or so from Kairos, the founder of Emmett Farm. And this is, look at the yields on this, 546%, 360%. And I understand more stuff is coming for Impulse, more benefits coming for Impulse there coming up. Now, Vouch is a staking protocol. You stake your Pulse, you get VPulse, and they've got the farm here for this, 464% in the main pool there, VPulse versus Emmett. So that's doing pretty well. Nexion, of course, is another project. We may be doing some coverage of that coming up. And that is doing pretty well, up 663%. That is looking pretty cool. And so keep a lookout for that. Not bad. Now, the big thing, of course, is the DAO. And at the moment, there's a number of proposals in here. And, of course, a number of Emmett that's in the DAO. So if you guys remember my tokenomics numbers, you would see that. No proposals active at the moment. So it looks like they've all closed. Let's jump over to the blog very quickly. And Emmett ecosystem there. This is a new blog. So we're going to read this. This is bullish. So let's get into this. This is very, very cool. All right. So let me just check the time here. 58 minutes an hour. We're doing pretty good time here today. Emmett ecosystem expands, new farms, NFTs minting, DAO growth, and community events. New farms, free NFT perks, active DAO proposals, and daily community events. Emmett is growing fast. And man, I like what I'm saying from Kairos. This guy is super experienced and super clever. So that is a powerful combination. Pretty cool. Catch up on the latest updates, key stats, and what's ahead for the ecosystem. So let's get into this. New farms added. We've added Emmett with several new farms options. We've just gone through those. Since launch, we've introduced 3 new categories: Nexion, Impulse, and Vault, and of course the NV Pulse farms. The following new pairs have been added, so we've got those ones there, and we've talked about those. NFT mintings to date, 252 NFTs have been minted, and these are called emitter NFTs, right? Emitter NFTs. These NFTs are required for the DAO participation, so you need them for the DAO, and of course come with powerful farming perks. There is now only 303 more NFTs before we minted all 555. So there's only been 555. Now they're 1 million pulse each, right? So they're very powerful. They give you no fees going into farms that have fees, and it'll also give you additional points. If you get into Telegram, there's a community airdrop program. You can get on that list by hitting up Kairos and being engaged and sharing growing the community. And of course, you can get points in the airdrop. And then if you get NFTs, they get added. Those points get added. So let's say you get 3 points in the community airdrop, you get 3 points, 3 NFTs. That's 3 points. That's 3 plus 3 is 6, and that's why you get a bigger share of the airdrops whenever they're dropping. They might drop Emmet tokens, they might drop Pulse tokens, you might drop Impulse tokens. You just don't know. It's a whole different array of stuff you might get there. So pretty exciting to join that. Now, there's going to be fee-free farming. There's also promotional boost, NFTs active point multipliers, which I just talked about. Now, DAO proposals, the DAO activity is booming. We had like 9 or 10 different DAO votes. That was incredible uptake of the DAO straight out of the gate. So pretty engaged community there. Users are actively submitting and voting on proposals. And of course, that brings in brand new communities, right? Now, approved proposals that will go live soon are Emmet Stable and PHEX Pulse. So keep a lookout for that. That is coming up because I don't think those were on the list yet. Now, community events and engaged community is the heartbeat of any project, and that is something that Kairos definitely gets engaged in, whether it's community members, whether it's influencers. He is a full-on, and he's trying to balance all those things very nicely. We're hosting daily events designed to entertain, unite, and promote Emmet through collaborative content creation. Right now, we're running the Richard Hart Pulse Chain themed event on X, with winners being announced on April the 7th, so don't miss out for that. Definitely get in there. So if you get in the Telegram, you'll be able to get access to that. And I'm going to post the Emmet Telegram so you guys can join up today. We don't want you guys to miss out on Emmet. So let's get hold of the old link there. Let's pull that on. Bam. Man, we're just dropping a whole ton of alpha today. I don't know. It's just a great day in crypto. Crypto is really doing very, very well indeed. And you got to be happy about that, right? You got to be happy about that. So if you want to join up the Emmet Telegram, get part of the community airdrop and get into those farms potentially, buy an NFT, get involved in a lot of the competitions, then it's well worth doing. So join up today, and bam, that is the link. So cool. You can also get to the farm, of course, from that price chart. So definitely check that out. And there is the link to Emmet. Check that out. Join up today and tell them that Superman sent you. Say, hey, I'm here. Never fear. Superman brought me here with Kryptonite. All right. So get in there today. Kairos is amazing. You guys are going to love him. And man, he is just leading the way a lot. He's a great example for a lot of project teams out there, both through his character, his promotion, and of course his design, and bring that experience and talent together. Makes a really great ecosystem. Here's a long-term view to develop really quality products, and Emmet is definitely laying the foundation for that, which is pretty cool. So we've got current stats. Let's take a snapshot of where we stand today. Market cap, of course, sitting about 105K. That's pretty similar to what we got now. Total supply, of course, has been burned. They've dropped that down. Emmet price, of course, is holding up pretty similar as well. TVL locked there. Now we saw that was actually gone up. And of course, we've got total burn. It's almost at 100K now. Total burn 941. Obviously, that's gone towards 7,000 actually on the burn there. Pretty cool. We'll look back on these numbers as milestones in our journey. So he's got a long-term vision, and everybody can become part of that. Of course, very, very cool. Now, the last thing I want to talk about quickly is the algorithmic stablecoin coming to Pulse Chain. This is going to be very exciting. This is from Jacob, the world's best peer-to-peer developer, in my opinion. And he's led the way on DeFi crypto, particularly casinos. And of course, he's now doing the Mafia game, which is going to be the biggest game on Pulse Chain. And he's obviously got his flagship project, in my opinion, which is PUSD ALGO, the ultimate algorithmic, stable, and DeFi platform, not only just for Pulse Chain, kind of Pulse Chain, but for the world. This could become potentially as popular, probably actually eclipse liquidity forks, which have been so popular because they've worked so well. Now there are 3 different type of main model groups that you can have. You can have fiat back ones, you can have collateral back ones like liquidity forks, which are over collateralized, right? Or you can have algorithmic ones. Now algorithmic ones are the trickiest one to get right, and there's typically they've had a lot of human interactions and a lot of bad flawed designs. But here, it really does look like he has created the ultimate algorithmic stablecoin, fully decentralized with miner bots and liquidity provision funded by the people. And this is scalable, right? So this could really be the holy grail to what they call the stablecoin trilemma. And scalability has been a big issue that hasn't really been solved too well. And this could be the ultimate there. And we saw on the live Pulse Chain over a year ago as a test, and it worked absolutely fantastic. With a super strong peg, unlike liquidity forks or fiat ones, and also having massive, actually making profit on the system as well, which was pretty amazing. And this is going to be not just stablecoin, but DeFi yield matched with the V3 DEX and a lot of other potential connections in a bit wider ecosystem. So this could be absolutely massive. So we're very excited about PUSD ALGO. Now, if you want to participate in that, of course, you can get a 19% bonus using the link in the video description. And you guys know I've been championing this project like no other influence out there, maybe with the exception of more recently times of Cal DeFi, the PR manager for Jacob. So definitely get on that, right? So it's pretty awesome. Now, finally, we're going to get into Titanix. Oh, we got Jake Sharp back on the field. And of course, he is out there. He's been developing the last 2 or 3 months the omni-chain strategy. We're waiting for that. All the buy and burns are turned off for Titanix. This is over on Ethereum, of course. And we're waiting for omni-chain that will move to base chain, move Titanix to base chain. And he has been quiet still. So he's obviously thinking about timing here with the market. That's probably his preoccupation is timing. And maybe he's still got a bit of development work, but mostly timing is probably what's going on here. And the buy and burns are all turned off. So we're going to keep a lot out for this. Obviously, with Ethereum moving around there, it's also relative. So let's have a look at the ratio to Titanix and Ethereum, because that's probably the key one here. We are expecting a third wave. When it happens, it's probably going to be pretty amazing, assuming those buy and burns are turned off and the omni-chain strategy plays out and people will like it, then it's going to be pretty awesome. So we're waiting for that wave 3. And, of course, if we're going to draw that on this chart, that is here. But this is US dollar price. I want to change over to the ETH ratio and get in here. So we are holding a higher low on the ETH ratio. We have been holding this area above 7,000. We're at 72,000 at the moment. So right on the bottom of it. Obviously, if we break down from here, we're probably going all the way back down to 5,500. So obviously, that's not a good sign. But at the moment, I think we're probably run out of gas. All things equal, we'll see. But wave 3, hopefully, we'll start printing higher highs here. And the buy and burns are turned off, right? So it's highly collateralized, like 95% or something. And so we will see what happens. It's going to be major when that moves. So most tokens in crypto don't have any backing, right? There's no backing, but this has about 95% ETH backing behind it. So we shall see when they get turned on. DragonX also has been increasing in value, 7.5 Titanix. So that's actually people are saying, hey, DragonX is pretty valuable. And so it's been going up. We're at 7.5 ratio to Titanix. The buy and burns turned off for that too. It's got a couple $1 million backing from memory. And Hyper and Hydra also minting is finished out. And we have got the Hydra ratio back to 0.1. Remember, it got dumped by a big whale some weeks back down to 0.5. That was an obviously screaming buy. And now it's 2x on the ratio to DragonX. So that is going to be pretty cool. And the buy and burns turned off. It's got about a 60%, 65% buy and burn. And, of course, that is going to be pretty cool as well. So, yeah, nice stuff there. Obviously, everything's chilling. Helios up 5% there at the moment. Morpheus up 7.6%. We know that Brandon, another influencer and developer in the Pulse Chain space, is going to be, and Titanix is going to be moving over to base chain and probably Pulse Chain with the V3 DEX there. And what else we got there? Scale up 4%. We got Oryx there. Aura, that's up big time, 22% today. This is the big liquidity fork over there. And this is doing very well. Big shout out to Super Shadowy. He does a great job with that, especially in the current market at the bottom of wave 2 on the old Titanix. And Uranus there is holding up pretty well. It's 1.98x. This is the first project to go to omni-chain. In other words, to go from Ethereum to base chain. And it's paired up with X28, right? Which X28 is the omni-chain version of Titanix. That's kind of where we are. Next projects coming up that we're really excited about is Bitcoin Genie, probably a month or 6 weeks away, something like that maybe. And then we've also got Taurus there, which we're expecting to launch in Q1. But given the market climate, they probably haven't decided to launch that. And so we're probably expecting it this quarter in Q2, somewhere between April and June, perhaps. Check out crypto graphics for that. So that is kind of where we are with the market. Pretty cool. We're going to wrap it up there. We're at an hour and 8 minutes. That's pretty much a full show for me. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the content over on Rumble. You guys are crushing it over there. Man, I really have enjoyed it. Now, we've been streaming today and yesterday on X. We're finally on X2. So we got onto Rumble maybe, about 20 days ago. We've just joined X the last 2 days. We've been on YouTube for quite a few years. So it's time to expand. And the thing I like about Rumble and X, they're more orientated to freedom platforms. We don't have these weird YouTube overlords giving us the most insane things you've ever imagined. But it's going to be pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow on Rumble for more great crypto content. We cover it all. And if you haven't checked out some of our recent videos, check them out. We've covered meme coin trends. We've covered DeFi. I mean, we're covering it all, and check it out, right? Check it out. And we're looking for high yields, and you definitely got to join up. to some awesome opportunities that we've been covering. So check that out. And what's the last thing I'm going to say? Yeah, join up to our Discord, links in the video description, and join up to our Superman Crypto's gems and get some free alpha lists. They are some of the best performing projects over on Pulse Chain. So definitely check that out. But we're going to also look at a few other chains as well. We're pretty open-minded about that because there is always opportunities elsewhere also. All right, hope you guys enjoyed today's show. A big shout out to some of our Superman Crypto Gem team. MV doing a great job in promotions. A big shout out to him. And also a big shout out to some of the people recently joined our Gems group there. And of course, we're talking about Neil and Fast Abdul, talking about Ben. Many other cool people joined our chat there. Big shout out there. In fact, I might make a big cool list just to thank some of those people. And we've got an exciting future plan for both the Superman gems, but also for the Kryptonite Show community. We've got lots of stuff coming up. So we're expanding and growing, and you guys make it possible. So big shout out to everybody there. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll catch you on the next show. I'll be doing a second show later on today. You know how it rolls. Crypto, and politics and society. We love it. It's awesome. I love it. It's great. So much fun. All right, catch you guys, and see you later on.